Double helpings of Chinese. It's a group effort as Paul Childerley takes out Norwegian deer expert Trigger for his first Chinese water deer.
There it goes.
More sweet than sour, Roy's got his talons out hunting rabbits for the pot in Scotland. Good girl. There's news, there's hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Chinese water deer are fascinating creatures. They're a curiosity to most people, and especially hunters who come from all over the world to the southeast of England to shoot one. One such hunter with a true passion for deer of all varieties is Kai's Norwegian friend Johan, better known as Trigger. He is a world authority on farming red deer and runs the Norwegian Red Deer Centre on the island of Svanøy. As a thank you for all the fun Kai's had over there, he's returning the favour over here with some help from CWD aficionado Paul Childerley.
I've seen Chinese water deer in the zoo and pictures, and I Google it a lot, but this will be the first time free range I try to get one with my camera, and hopefully I succeed shooting one.
Kai, have you been after Chinese?
I've never been after Chinese, but Trigger's done a lot for me over the past few years. So we've been out reindeer shooting, moose, seal. We've done the red hinds down with you. So I wanted to give something back to Trigger. I've never done one yet. I will do in the future, no doubt. But I'm going to have just as much enjoyment watching Trigger take his first Chinese. Hopefully,
hopefully, we'll see.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see. No guarantees. They look big in the field. But I've just seen two dead inside, and they're very small. So I shot a few muntjacs before, and on the field they looked bigger, far bigger. Yeah. But inside they look smaller. So really, what I'm uncertain about would be like if I can judge the distance. So that's why it's very good to have with some people who knows this, used to shoot them, because that's where normally things, when it goes wrong, is either you pull the trigger wrong, or you misjudge the distance, which will be important to know. So this will be very interesting.
Trigger is going to use Paul's estate rifle, Seiko 85 in 243.
Almost like mine. Very light and exact, precise. There's nothing...
A rifle is more of a professional tool for them both, and Trigger has hunted all over the world.
And caliber?
A 243.
243, good. That's 6mm.
Yeah. Flat. Yeah.
So it's zeroed at?
It's zeroed ½ inch high at 100.
The plan is to go for a cull animal, but Paul has been told by one of his keepers that he's spotted a deer with a heavy limp, so this could be a suitable animal for Trigger to remove. Joining us today is professional photographer Ben Bull of Country Shot Photography. He's done a great deal of game days, but never a stalk, so it's a first for Trigger and for Ben. The ground is flat in this part of the world, and stalkers need to take care. Paul assesses the female Chinese water deer. She is limping badly. We just need her in a safe shooting position.
On the right, yeah?
The right one.
Yeah. See him, David?
Yeah.
Okay. Reload. Okay. Keep down. Okay. Safety on. There's people.
I know.
Don't even know.
They don't understand.
Don't even know. Don't even know we've done that.
This is a bit different.
Yeah. But, I mean, they're used to people.
Yeah.
And you see, those people didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were shooting away from them, so it was safe.
Yeah.
But obviously we had a chance to take the animal before it got away, or got in front of them, or got in a dangerous area. So
Exactly.
it's a good one to get. Well done.
Perfect. Well done.
Well done.
Thank you.
Good one to get.
Yes.
It was,
Injured one.
injured one.
Injured
Well
one.
done. Good start. Could be road casualty.
Yeah. Right.
Broken
Broken the leg, is it?
It's still getting around okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one is completely stiff. So it's old.
that's
It's
why.
an old, very old damage. Not too bad. But it was a little angled. It's a big rabbit, but cool. But first of all, I mean, I'm really excited about being here in a place where I see this or stalk this for the first time of my life. But with people all around, this is new to me. I mean, people are walking with the dogs all around us, cars are passing. We're kind of in a very crowded place on Earth, very unlike my place. We're still stalking, which is fantastic. Och runt oss överallt här så är det alltså människor som...
In a situation like this, consideration for all is paramount. The dog walkers are just yards away, but well out of harm's way. Paul is careful to keep disturbance to a minimum.
Ideal for this sort of thing is obviously a good moderator, so it keeps it nice and quiet. We've got the stun on the 243 here. We literally shot the animal up the field about 150 yards away, and there was somebody walking up the footpath beside us. I didn't even know it happened. So that's just perfect, just the result we wanted. And now they're looking in the middle of the field thinking, why are those guys out there crop walking? So yeah, ideal.
He has his first Chinese and another deer species knocked off his wish list.
This was species number 14. So I'm happy with that. Thank you very much. Let's go.
Before we lose the light, Paul offers Kai, who is starting to sweat a bit, another deer for trigger. To take his mind off it, the two Shooter King brand ambassadors pose for some shots. What a handsome duo. We eventually get onto a young male that Paul would like taken off the ground.
Okay.
Good. Shot's good.
Brilliant.
Well done.
Sorry. Second CVD. Not bad. But the other one we didn't shoot because it was too big and Kai couldn't afford it.
It's been a successful few hours and we have plenty of meat in the chiller, plus a few trophies by some of Paul's other clients who have been out on his ground today. They are smaller than the Red's trigger is used to, but many would say better eating. Anyway, you be the judge. If you'd like to find out more about stalking Chinese water deer with Paul, go to childerleysporting.co.uk. And if you'd like to see more of Ben's work, visit countryshot.co.uk. Paul is now taking bookings for CWD coach parties. Next up, one of the naughty boys from the back of the coach, it's David with the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A fox and coyote calling competition saw hundreds of animals shot on the east coast of America. Around 300 shooters paid $50 each to take part in the 2017 Eastern US Predator Calling Championship in Virginia. Brown and Mike Burgess from Maryland won the most kills category with 31 foxes. The $6,000 grand prize for most coyotes went to Alex Poole and Logan Jones of Tennessee with 20. The RSPCA has condemned a ratting video. The film showing lads and their terriers keeping the streets of Liverpool clean from rats is the new target of animal rights activists at the RSPCA. The RSPCA's views are reported faithfully by the Liverpool Echo. Thanks to viewer Anton John for sending in the story. Police have caught a thief at a gun show. A suspect had been caught on camera allegedly stealing a scope and an American Defense MFG mount at the SHOT Show in Vegas. Stand holder American Defense Manufacturing announced its gratitude to local police for their help in arresting a man suspected of stealing the kit. Namibia's Professional Hunting Association has welcomed China's move to ban the ivory trade and processing in 2017. They say the move will decrease the pressure on the elephant population, though it adds that ivory poaching only plays a small role in the total number of elephant deaths. The association hopes the decision will be extended to other endangered wildlife species, including pangolins and rhinos. And finally, dash cam footage shows an impressive near miss with 4 moose. Canadian James Levesque is driving on Highway 631 in northern Ontario when 4 moose abruptly appear on the roadside. As he approaches, 2 of the moose move towards the road, making it nearly impossible for him to avoid a collision. He attempts to brake, then realises that's a mistake. He lets off the brake and manages to steer his car between the 2 moose, successfully avoiding the animals. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. As the end of the falconry season looms, Roy goes to Scotland for one last blowout.
Come on. Yeah. You've not seen it. Hang on.
Roy is on a beautiful Scottish estate, primarily to fly his golden eagles on blue hares. But the Angus Glens also offer great sport for his goshawks during the day and at night. As well as supporting a healthy population of hares, the thick heather holds plenty of rabbits. They are a superb quarry for the so-called cook's bird, with its fast action responses made all the better with steady work by the dogs, flushing and pointing.
What we're up to this afternoon is we're going to go, and we've got 3 dogs with us, and we're just going to work the dogs through the heather here. We know there's quite a few rabbits here. Hopefully the dogs might pick up a point, the spaniel will just flush, and then fingers crossed we can pick up 2 or 3 rabbits. So as soon as the rabbit gets up, then she'll be away after it. If she misses it, then we'll get a recall, and then hopefully we should connect with a few. If you look at her tail, it looks a little bit odd. It's not a bicoloured hawk, unfortunately. In her early days, she wasn't the most careful hawk with her tail, and she broke a lot of her tail feathers. So we've had to borrow some tail feathers from some of my old girls and imp those in. I didn't have any white ones, so she does look a little bit peculiar. But what we do is, if they do break a feather, it's incredibly important that we replace it or repair it. And so we'll use carbon fibre rods, shave those down to the shape of the feather, and then epoxy the feathers back in.
With the dogs and the Argo covering plenty of ground, we get our first rabbit of the evening following a fine point by the vizsla.
Get on him! Get on! Get on! There it goes! Oh, and another one! Good girl! Good girl! Good girl! That was absolutely spot on. So the dog was on point, lovely little point, and we just wanted the rabbits to run out across the burn, or the burn patches of heather, so it's easier to see. And as I say, nice little flight. What we'll all try and do is get back a little bit further and see if we can get some better flights, some better runs. But yeah, I mean, for bringing the dogs on and for young goshawks, it's brilliant sport. Rabbits are not overly challenging for goshawks. They do them very well, but they're such an underestimated quarry. They're just brilliant fun. There we go. Whoa! Whoa! Keep going! Good girl, Welly Bean. Steady.
The second rabbit
Steady.
of the evening comes from another point.
Steady. 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 Boog, steady. Get in then. Get in then. Get it on. Get it on. Where's it gone? Where's it? Where's it? There we go. Oh! Yes! Lovely. Well done, Welly.
Roy could fly the goshawks on the hares, but there are a couple of reasons why he doesn't.
Because the goshawks are so manoeuvrable, they can be on the hares very quickly, so they can just turn very quickly on the heather with them. And that the flights generally don't turn out to be as spectacular. they are such a special quarry and such a lovely quarry. I'd much prefer to fly them with eagles. At least then you're using their natural predator against them. I mean, you know, goshawks will predate on them in the wild, but normally a wild goss would probably try once or twice, get kicked quite badly and stop.
There is just enough time for a couple more slips before we head home for hare curry. Speaking of hares, throughout this evening's outing we haven't seen a single hare. Roy explains how the rabbits and hares occupy different parts of this incredible ecosystem.
What you have is on the lower slopes you have the rabbits, and then the hares tend to be higher up on the hill. Although in bad weather and at night the hares will come down and feed on the grasses and come down to the rivers and the streams, you know, and feed on the lusher vegetation. And then before first light or at first light, they all head back up into the thicker heather. And again, it's so dependent on weather and so dependent on the wind, depending on what gets thrown at them. If you've got harsh weather conditions, and if you have the snow coming in, the hares generally tend to come further down the hills. Whereas if it's a fantastic couple of days like we've got today, then they tend to move back up to the tops, so you won't find as many down on the lower slopes.
Roy may be hunting rabbits, but it's bags of 3s and 4s. He is worried that a lot of places are risking wiping out their populations, hitting them when they are down.
A lot of my friends who fly birds and shoot all across the country are saying that the rabbits are definitely in decline as a result of viral hemorrhagic disease. So just for our own future sport, and you know, for looking after a very fantastic natural resource, I do think we need to give them a little bit of leeway and let them come back a little bit. So they definitely need a little bit of help, I think, at the minute. I'm just going to put a little bit of heart from one of the hares that we caught earlier just on the top, and then now she's had a little bit of a reward on there, then we shall trade her up.
It has been a lovely few hours to round off the day. In a few weeks we will bring you what we hope will be our best golden eagle on blue hares film yet. In the meantime, who's this?
I don't know why you're wasting your time here. We've got far more important things to do. Podcasts are waiting.
As long as you're providing the wine.
David's not invited though.
Okay, see you later, mate. Ciao.
And as we mentioned, we will be bringing you the eagle hunting film soon. Now, from the glens to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Here is a ferreting film with a lynx news top. Good editing of this GoPro film. The great rabbit and lynx hunt makes this channel one to watch. Whiskey and Weapons is a great name for a channel, though it is at pains to point out you should not mix those two things. Jaeger magazine from Germany is in Scotland on the glorious Ardnamurchan Peninsula, where we filmed hind stalking and woodcock shooting in the autumn. Filmed last season, this is wonderful stag stalking. Talking of woodcock, here is Wayne Carberry in Ireland. A few clips from the end of 2016, including good shots and retrieves from the springers in heavy cover. UK Fox Shooter is out with the Armorsight Drone Pro, which we like using too. It's a short foxing film from last year and one from more recently. In New Zealand, it's time to fill the freezer. Waikara Moana shoots 2 nice fallow with a 308. New Zealand is the top producing country of hunting YouTube channels. American shooter Buck McNeely visits Peru for the dove shooting. He's out with ChacoPeru.com, an estate that also offers big game hunts in Chile, Mexico, France, Spain and Australia. How do they go wildfowling in Russia? Gola Ochotnich Yegomashtovsta, yes, I do have a slight St. Petersburg accent, is out after duck on the Black Sea in Krasnodar, right next to the Crimea. In Russian, but you will get the picture. It is brought to you by Russian wildfowling supplier schoolhunter.ru. And finally, one of my favourite channels is out filming one of my favourite places. United for Wildlife is Prince William's conservation charity, and its new film is about Dr. Kevin Robertson of Southern African Wildlife College. UFW is doing a series on Nature's Guardians, and that is spot on. That's it for this week. Links are in the description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, Charlie at fieldsportschannel.tv. There's a new episode of our airgun show Airheads to watch. Rich Leonard is out in South Africa with his Air Arms S510. He's after doves. And BSA King Jamie Chandler wants to know why animals react so strongly when you shoot them in the head. There's hot air airgun news and the best airgunning videos on YouTube in air streaming. Click on the link on the screen to watch it, and we are back next week. And if you haven't done so already, pop along to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv, where there's loads more to do than usual. You can have a look at Field Sports News page, which gives you all the news you need about hunting and shooting. And there's a lot more in the descriptions of these films on our website, kit we use, where we go, that kind of thing. So you can like us on Facebook there, you can follow us on Twitter, you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and best of all, you can pop your email address into our constant contact page form, and we'll contact you about this show, Field Sports Britain, and our other shows. This show at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday, and this has been Field Sports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.